I'm joined now by Gaby Pacheco, President and CEO of the Dream.us. Gaby, thank you for being here. We really appreciate it. Let's pick up on President-elect Trump's comments about Dreamers on the video, the very powerful video that you posted. You heard some of the skepticism on Capitol Hill, but you are really making a call to action. Why are you optimistic this might be a moment when you can get something done?
Well, what he said was really powerful, and he talked about Dreamers in a way that I don't think anybody else has talked about. He said middle age, which that is true. I'm about to be 40 years old. He talked about us being successful. He talked about us being part of this country and this nation. And I think that he understands that the country supports Dreamers, that it's been 23 years that nobody has been able to get this done. And maybe for him, he's seeing this as a legacy.
What are you going to do? What are your next steps to not just try to get in touch with the president and his team, but to try to sound the alarm that this may be, in your perspective, a moment of change for Dreamers?
Well, I'm going to hit the Hill. Next week, before they go for recess, I'm going to talk to as many people as possible. I think we need to really come together and hold the president accountable and say, we want to work with you. It's been 23 years, as I said. We've seen bipartisan DREAM Acts. We've seen legislation come from Republicans, like Succeed Act. We've seen the Dream and Promise Act. There's 12 different types of legislation. And so I think we've already done this exercise. I think we just have to be ready and prepare. And the thing that I'm hoping is that we don't tie this to other things as it's been in the past. This is where we're going to fail. Every single time we have tried, they said, oh, this has to be part of a bigger package. Let's just get it done.
This is pretty significant what you're saying. You're going to go to Capitol Hill and say this needs to be a standalone piece of legislation.
This needs to be standalone. Let's just get it done. We know what we need to do. We know who the Dreamers are. These are upstanding Dreamers. We at the Dream.us have had 11,000 students. They're nurses, teachers, engineers. They work in corporate America. We know who they are. We just need to get it done.
When you hear names like Tom Homan, some of the other people who are going to be involved in President-elect Trump's immigration policies, are you concerned that there's a disconnect? I mean, are you confident that Tom Homan agrees with Donald Trump on Dreamers?
Well, that is exactly why I made this video. I'm hoping that President Trump sees it and sees there's willingness from folks to work with him and are ready to applaud him if he's able to get this done. And there will be naysayers. There will be people who are going to try to tie this to the border and other pieces of legislation. And maybe some of his advisors might say, Mr. President, this is not the right thing to do. But the American people, when you poll this, it polls really high. And I think that meeting we had with him in 2013, we had a 45-minute discussion. And we shared our story. He asked a lot of questions. And as we were leaving, he said, you convinced me. So I'm hoping that he remembers that. I heard people that he has mentioned this meeting. And I think deep down inside, he got to hear our stories. And so maybe there will be a little bit of disconnect between what he wants and what his advisors want. And I really hope that he just moves forward with what he said on Sunday.
I want to play you a little bit more of what he told me about his immigration policies. Get your reaction on the other side. Take a look. Let me ask you about another group of people, the estimated 4 million families in America who have mixed immigration status. So I'm talking about parents who might be here illegally, but the kids are here legally. Your borders are...
You're talking about separation?
Yeah, well, I mean, there are two aspects to this. Your border czar, Tom Homan, said they can be deported together. Correct. Is that the plan?
Well, that way you keep the... Well, I don't want to be breaking up families, so the only way you don't break up the family is you keep them together and you have to send them all back.
What is your reaction to hearing that families of mixed immigration status, part of the idea might be to send them all back to their original countries?
Well, this is where I ask my fellow Americans, now a U.S. citizen, to speak up the way they did during his first administration. We have seen the documentary on Sunday, Separated, and it was the community and the outcry to say this is wrong, this is un-American, that got the president to undo that policy. And so I hope that people let him know that that is not the way to go, that we need to keep families together, that U.S. citizens need to be protected if they're 5, if they're 10, if they're 15, and they need to stay here and they need their families.
What has the reaction been amongst your fellow Dreamers to your outreach? Are you getting support? Are you getting any backlash? What is your message to them?
Well, I honestly thought people were not going to necessarily support that video, but I'm surprised. And I think people have that same hope of why their families came to this nation, because they know this nation is a nation that, even in its worst, we've always been able to come up with new laws. We've been able to fight those injustices. And so I think there's a lot of faith. There's a lot of hope. And for dreamers, they just want to tell their stories and say, we've been living here our whole entire life. The average age of our scholar came at the age of 4. And so they feel American, and they're hoping they're recognized themselves and their families as Americans.
You brought up the film Separated, which our Jacob Soboroff worked on, which really takes a look at the zero tolerance policy under the first Trump administration, which he started and then ended, but that did lead to children being separated from their parents at the border. It was meant as a deterrent, but it was perceived as being inhumane, and so he stopped it. Are you concerned that could come back in some form or some fashion in the second Trump administration?
Well, we're hearing that that is something that they're thinking about, that they want to do, and it, of course, is a concern. But as long as there is a Statue of Liberty, as long as there's movies being made where New York is shown, and Miami, and all these wonderful cities in our country, and America, right, our views and who America is being projected to the world, people are going to want to come to our nation, because our nation is great.
All right, Gaby Pacheco, thank you so much. We will stay in close touch with you as you continue to have these conversations.
Yes.
We appreciate your joining us.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app, or follow us on social media.